In the heart of Edo State, nestled between two winding roads and a silent forest, was a woman known as Mama Ebo. She was big, chubby, and always sweating, not from heat, but from secrets buried deep in her flesh. At age 56, her face was full, her cheeks round like overripe mangoes, and her arms dangled like sacks of yam flour. Her natural black hair was always tightly packed into a thick, oily bun wrapped in a faded red scarf. Some said she once had a husband, others believed he vanished the night she started selling Akara. Every morning, like clockwork, the town of Ujagbo would wake up to the sweet, smoky scent of her Akara, golden, crispy, and hot like it was fried by angels. People would gather before dawn, standing in line with empty plates and loud hunger in their bellies. They called her Mama Akara, and they swore her Akara had something special in it. Something irresistible. But no one knew that when the moon came out, and the cock refused to crow. Mama Ebo would vanish into the forest barefoot, chanting softly with a calabash in her hand, and when she returned, the blood of the coven's victims would still be warm in her bowl. And by morning, that blood would sizzle in her frying pan, bubbling into the Akara that fed an entire town. But one day, the smell changed. And someone noticed. That morning, something was off. The sun rose, but its warmth felt hollow. The birds chirped, yet the trees didn't sway. A strange breeze swept through Ujagbo, whispering secrets that only the sensitive could hear. Mama Ebo stood at her usual spot, by the roadside, under the crooked mango tree. Her wide waist wrapped in a faded wrapper stained with oil, her large feet dusted with dry mud, her frying pan hissing with fresh Akara. And as always, the queue was long. People laughed, greeted her, even praised her. "Ah, Mama Akara. This your hand no day fail o." But among them was a 13-year-old boy named Iromasil. Iromasil was different, quiet, thin, with sharp eyes like a cat. His grandmother had warned him. "Don't ever eat from that woman, her spirit is heavy. But hunger has no fear." He took a bite. The Akara was hot, soft on the inside, and bursting with flavor. But after the third bite, he froze. His lips trembled. His eyes turned white. He dropped to the ground, convulsing, his tongue hanging, as if something inside him wanted out. People screamed. They poured water on him, slapped his back, prayed in panic. But Iromasil only whispered one word before passing out. "Blood." Mama Ebo stood still, her face emotionless, yet her hands trembled, just a little. And for the first time in 15 years, her smile disappeared. That night, the town whispered. "Who is Mama Ebo? What is inside that Akara? And why did the boy see what others never noticed?" That night, Ujagbo did not sleep. The market women spoke in hushed tones. The hunters sharpened their charms. The old men sat beneath the irako tree and shook their heads. What did the boy see? Blood and Akara? Is it madness, or warning? Mama Ebo did not open her stall the next morning. The mango tree felt lonely. But at midnight, as the moon rose, fat and red, a wind began to blow, strong, sharp, like it carried the voices of the dead. And from the forest came a sound. Drums. Low, steady, deadly. The witches were meeting again, in the sacred bush behind the village shrine. Mama Ebo walked in, her chubby feet silent on the leaves. Her red scarf now stained with dried blood, her eyes glowing faintly. Inside the circle, 12 women chanted. Old. Wrinkled. Some beautiful. All wicked. They stared at her. One of them, the high priestess, hissed. You are careless, Ebo. The boy saw the truth. Mama Ebo knelt. I will silence him. I promise. But the high priestess shook her head slowly. No. You have drawn attention to us. The time of reckoning is near. For 3 days. Eromacil remained unconscious. His body hot, shaking like yam leaves in harmattan wind. His grandmother, Mama Agban, kept vigil, pouring holy water on his head, whispering psalms, rubbing his chest with bitter leaf and palm oil. But on the 4th day, Eromacil woke. His voice was soft, but clear. I saw them, dancing in blood. The villagers gasped. I saw Mama Akara, holding a baby upside down, draining blood into a calabash. People didn't want to believe. But Eromacil's eyes, they held truth. And trauma. Children stopped going to Mama Ebo's spot. Women avoided her side of the market. Whispers grew into warnings. And the once beloved Mama Akara became the town's silent terror. A week later, 3 children went missing. No noise. No struggle. Just gone. The town panicked. Fathers began staying up with machetes beside their doors. Mothers kept bitter cola and holy water under their pillows. And people remembered Eromacil's vision. The baby, upside down. The blood, the calabash. Eyes turned to Mama Ebo. She no longer sold Akara. But people saw her. Walking at odd hours. Staring at children. Talking to herself. Digging behind her hut. So, the town decided. She must be watched. Closely. One evening, a bold young man named Osesu decided to follow Mama Ebo. He hid behind trees, keeping his distance as she walked into the forest. But halfway in, she stopped. And turned around. Her eyes glowed. Like burning coal. Why do you follow me, child? Osesu couldn't speak. He tried to run, but his legs refused. Then, she whispered something in a language older than time. Osesu screamed, and collapsed. He was found the next day, blind. No scratch on his body. No wound. Just darkness, and fear. And a single word he kept repeating. Fire, fire, in her eyes. The elders called for help. They sent word to Father Dominic, a powerful priest from Benin City. He arrived with a wooden crucifix, holy oil, and a Bible so old its pages smelled like fire. He listened to the stories. He visited the boy, Eromacil. And then he said, she is no ordinary woman. She's bound by a blood covenant. But God's power is greater. He fasted for 3 days. And on the 4th, he marched to Mama Ebo's house. She was waiting outside, smiling again, frying something. Father, she said, Akara? But the priest raised his cross. In the name of Jesus Christ, your time is up. The air grew heavy. Birds stopped flying. Clouds gathered fast, dark, dangerous. Mama Ebo laughed, a laugh that shook the trees. Then, she screamed. And the earth answered. From beneath her feet, black smoke rose. A snake slithered from her wrapper. The frying pan burst into flames. But Father Dominic did not flinch. He knelt, and began to pray. Thunder cracked. Rain fell. The snake hissed and vanished into the bush. Mama Ebo shrieked, and fell to her knees, shaking violently. But before she passed out, she whispered, I was trying to feed them, so they would not eat me. The villagers gathered. Mama Ebo was tied to the mango tree, the very place she once sold Akara. Father Dominic sprinkled holy water on her, and her body hissed like hot coal. She trembled, foam at the corners of her lips, but then, she began to speak. I was only 26, when I joined them. My husband died mysteriously, my only child, a daughter, vanished during childbirth. I went mad with sorrow, until one night, an old woman came to me in my dreams. She promised power, wealth, and the return of what I had lost. But the price was blood. I began with goats, then birds, then, the voices said, human. She wept loudly, her big body shaking. I used their blood to fry Akara, they made me do it. I fed you all to protect myself from being eaten by them. The villagers gasped. The truth was uglier than they ever imagined. But still, she wasn't finished. There's one more secret. The blood you smell in the Akara was sometimes from my own family. Following Mama Ebo's confession, a team of elders, hunters, and the priest followed her directions. She led them to a part of the forest no one dared to enter. There, beneath a giant akimi tree, the earth was soft. They dug. And what they found froze their hearts. 9 shallow graves. Each one filled with bones. Some small, some fresh. A child's slipper. A piece of school uniform. A necklace that once belonged to a missing trader's daughter. Some villagers collapsed in shock. Others wailed. The silence of the forest was shattered by grief. And there, standing at the edge, Father Dominic whispered, May God have mercy on this land. That night, Mama Ebo was locked inside the town shrine, guarded by warriors and watched by elders. She slept quietly, until midnight. That's when she began to scream. Her back arched, her body convulsed. And as her wrapper slipped, they saw it. A mark, burned deep into her skin. A covenant symbol, shaped like an eye with 3 horns. It pulsed, like it was alive. The high priest gasped. This is the sign of the red moon circle. They feed on blood, and never forgive betrayal. Suddenly, thunder roared. A black owl crashed into the shrine wall, dead. The priest turned to the elders. They are coming for her, tonight. At exactly 2:00 a.m. The ground shook. Dogs barked wildly. Palm trees swayed with no wind. And then, they came. Dark figures. Floating, crawling, whispering. 12 witches in shadowed form, wearing white wrappers soaked in blood. They surrounded the shrine. And from within, Mama Ebo screamed, "Please don't let them take me." Father Dominic stood tall. Holding his crucifix high, he shouted, "By the power of the Holy Spirit, this covenant is broken." A blinding light burst from the shrine roof. The witches wailed, disintegrating into ashes one by one. All, except one. The high priestess. She stared at Mama Ebo, and whispered, "You fed us for years. Now, we will feed on your soul." And with a burst of red smoke, she vanished. Mama Ebo's body went still. Forever. The next morning, the skies were clear. For the first time in years, the air felt light. Father Dominic led the town in a cleansing ceremony. They burnt Mama Ebo's frying pan. They anointed the mango tree. They sealed the forest paths with salt and scriptures. And as for the Akara spot, no one ever sold there again. Children sang hymns around it every Sunday. And people learned to ask questions before their stomachs led them astray. The priest remained in Ujagbo until his death 5 years later. He left behind one message. Evil wears a smile, be watchful. Erolmasil grew up into a strong young man. He never ate Akara again. He became a pastor, known across Edo State for his spiritual gifts. But he always carried a scar on his arm, shaped like a crescent moon. He said it appeared the day he ate Mama Ebo's Akara. He never married. He never stayed too long in one place. He often said, "I saw the truth, and the truth never left me." His grandmother passed peacefully, whispering, "My grandson broke the curse." And every July 12th, Erolmasil would return to Ujagbo, to stand before the mango tree, and light a single candle. For the ones who were never found. Years passed. Ujagbo grew quiet again. Children ran freely. Markets boomed. But sometimes, in the early hours of the morning, a thin trail of smoke could be seen rising behind the old mango tree. And if you listen closely, you could hear oil bubbling, and someone whispering, "Akara, hot Akara." Those who heard it never turned around. They just walked away. Fast. Because some spirits never leave the frying pan. And some witches die, but never forget the taste of blood. If this story gave you chills, if it opened your eyes to the hidden dangers that wear a friendly face, then don't keep it to yourself. Like this video to support our channel. Subscribe for more shocking true-life folktales. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story that could save you. And please, share this with someone who needs to be spiritually aware. You never know who's frying your next Akara. Stay protected, stay prayerful, and stay tuned.